around my album, we did a whole bunch of marketing and some really cool things. We did some uncomfortable things to brand the album, and one of them was the uncomfortable interviews. And my DJ Dre the Giant hit New York City and started asking people uncomfortable questions like, "What do you think about white privilege? Does it exist?" And we'll get all kinds of thoughts and dialogue happening back and forth there. But then he was just asking questions like, "Would you rather be a stripper for $100,000 a year, or an accountant for $30,000 a year?" It was cool to see people's responses and their candidness. But we felt like the title of the album lent itself to all kinds of interesting, engagement. I was really inspired by a quote that kind of informed the album title, and it was that good art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. When I thought about what I want to do in music, is I want to create meaningful conversations, inside of hip hop, because I feel like, again, we live in a very trivial kind of culture where we're elevating and celebrating things that don't matter that much. You know what I mean? In the grand scope of life. So I wanted to comfort the disturbed, hit the hearts of the people that, need to be encouraged and know that they're loved. And then at the same time, disturb the comfortable and shake things up and bring a different perspective to the table. That informed the album title, but also just uncomfortable is a word that describes where I'm at in my life. A lot of my life doesn't make sense. I feel like I don't fit in certain places either. At the time I got engaged, I was getting ready to get married. I was moving, I was changing neighborhoods, and my career's taking off. There's a lot of these different things that were happening that were stretching me and putting me in uncomfortable situations. And I think oftentimes we try to run from uncomfortable situations instead of sit inside the tension of those things and get something out of them. Yeah, uncomfortable is come and embrace the discomfort, because there's something good that can be brought out of it.
I want people to truly believe he's actually really happy, because nobody believes it. Everybody believes, nah, he gotta want more fans. He gotta want more people to know who he is. And I don't care.
She was like, "I'll give you $100 if you do it." Now, she just told me she ain't had no money to buy my t-shirt, dog. And I'm hurting at the time. I'm not hurting, but I'm trying to make my little merch monies.
The dude is just camped out in front of the tour bus. So we like, oh man, this dude's crazy, man. Like, "Sir, you gonna have to leave." He said, "I ain't going nowhere. I got a message for Lecrae. I ain't going nowhere."
How should I act as a child of God? What's my responsibilities? Being created in the likeness and the image of God. We don't think that. We just think like, yo, you offended me. Now I gotta act. I gotta do what I gotta do.